Welcome to Own the Chaos. The stock market is crazy and chaotic.
Oh my God, are you seeing this shit, bro? Tesla closed at $695. What the hell is going on?
Brad and Fat Man Zoom are here to help you own it.
Now with IBM getting here, I think it's just going to come more to the forefront and people are going to get more and more eyeballs on Salesforce. Should see a really nice move.
Taking it to the suits, being relatable and hilarious.
We got D's nuts in the crew. Every crew needs D's nuts. You know what D's nuts' #1 holding is? Big C.
Get ready to own the chaos in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad. That guy over there is Fat Man Zoom, and we have a special live stream for you guys today. Clover is going off, DogeCoin is going off, but really it's all about Clover, is it not, Fat Man Zoom?
In my world, baby, it's all about Clover. Somebody messaged me on, or maybe they put something on Twitter, where they said about how hype I am, and I'm probably running circles. I was like, no, last time I got all excited about Clover, I damn near blew out my knee. I think my ACL was hanging on.
Yeah, so I'm going to let you have the stage with this one because you've just been so passionate about Clover. You actually ended up doubling down on it this week. So explain to our folks as to why you did that.
Yeah, so first let me shout out our starting 5. Apologies to those of you who were in the other live stream, but this starting 5 is Jason, Rudy Brown, Trevor Sachs, Sean, Camilo E. Y'all the real MVPs. All right.
That's right.
So I also need to give credit for somebody else who averaged down. Casey, who's in the chat, just said I averaged down hard on Clover yesterday. So really good timing.
Yeah.
So let's just set up what's been going on with Clover. So this has been arguably my #1 highest conviction stock. And I've been getting a lot of heat, bro. I've literally been sitting in the fire for months now.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it recently went off. Was that last Thursday or was that this week?
I believe so. I'm bringing the chart up right now. So we look at, it was, last Thursday, the 8th.
Yeah, so last Thursday went off, had a pullback, but really it's been textbook from a technical perspective because we said that $9 resistance was hard. And what it did exactly, and you'll talk about it in a little bit when you look at the chart, but what it did was that exactly went up to 9 and then steadily starting to pull back. This week hasn't been a great week for it. Went through a couple supports, but without the reasons why, the reality is fundamentally, I've believed in this stock for a number of reasons, but I've been really confident that this stock is a $20 stock long-term. In the short term, this thing needs to be above $10. It's silly that it's below $10. So today, actually, I was running over here to get ready for this live stream. And before I left, it was under $9 and it looks like it's cleared that $9.50 mark. But yeah, I doubled down just because I believe in it. And I felt like last week's move was just sort of the beginning of something bigger.
Oh yeah, bro! It popped up over. So it has the high of the day is $10.03. So this thing is moving beautifully. It's moving exactly how we thought it was going to. If it could break these key resistance points, and I just want to bring some attention here because there's some controversy here because of the short interest, and there's potential reason to believe that this could have more legs to it to run. This has been something that's kind of been whispering around on Wall Street bets for a little bit because of the short interest. Everywhere I look on, I don't want to say legitimate because I don't want to bring Benzinga down. But, looking at brokerages, Yahoo, all that good stuff, credible resources, I'm seeing short interest around 35%. But Benzinga comes out with an article this morning talking about companies that have extreme short interests, and they're claiming that Clover has high short interest at 144%, which is GameStop-like. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. Still trying to corroborate this story, but coming from Benzinga, I mean, I would imagine that there has to be some legs to this, and if there isn't, this still could be the reason why we're seeing Clover run because this story has been running rampant all over Twitter as well.
Bro, there's so many things to unpackage. Like Michael Hanna said, this is a potential short squeeze.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, and your 35% number is what I saw on TD Ameritrade. Now that was from March 31st. I don't know if, I mean, 2 weeks seems like that's a huge jump in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But if it's even half of that 144%, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So JB Smith, I looked at TD Ameritrade for how much CLOV is being shorted. There's a recent article that Brad had mentioned, but it remains to be seen. I'm excited for where it closes today. It has to close above $9. And Don Fran, shout out to Don Fran from the Don Fran Show. He said his zone was 937 to 973. If it stays above 9, I'll be confident. Bro, this might break over 10 before the market closes today. Yeah. And if it gets over 10, that's a key mark for when we talk about this was a recent SPAC.
Right.
For SPACs, that $10 is sort of a benchmark number. So we'll see how that works out. But if we can close there, I think there's going to be a ton of hype over the weekend, especially because I tweeted Dave Portnoy, so maybe he sees my tweet. Maybe. So the hype build over the weekend, monster Monday. If we can keep this over 9 and even 10, I think this is only the beginning, man. I believe it.
I agree. I think that we could potentially see a pretty serious gap up if there's any truth. And I want to reinforce that. If there's any truth to what Benzinga's putting out about there being this much short interest in Clover, then you can bet the Wall Street folks or Wall Street Bets folks will be getting in on this. The Reddit folks, Twitter, like I said, is already blowing up with this stuff. And so I think Clover could very well gap up if, like you said, the hype continues to build over the weekend and we start to see some hard evidence about the short interest, because that's insane. It's almost as if nobody learned their lesson and over leveraging something like this. And so if that happens, I mean, yeah, $20 could come very easily if all of those things align and do end up becoming a thing. What I will say is, and I see a couple of people already in the chat that are like, oh, well, I've been stuck in this thing since $10 or $11. As soon as this gets to 11, I'm out. And this kind of plays into what we were talking about yesterday. Like, why would you just break even? Why would you wait all this time just to break even? Like, I understand, like, you've just been stuck in it and you want to be rid of it. Like, I get the mental aspect of it. It's a true mind fuck, right? But, like, you're going to probably miss out, and it's going to mess with your head even more if you don't at least hold on to a little bit to try to make some profit off of this thing.
Yeah, when it finally gets to your break even, selling out makes zero sense to me.
Yeah.
If you had conviction on the stock. And then the other thing is, unless maybe your sentiments change and you're like, all right, now I'm break even. But if you were in it a decent amount, you probably believed in it. That makes zero sense to me. And the other thing that didn't make sense to me is, like, this wasn't technically a great play. It was a long-term swing trading play, but technically it wasn't set up well. So trading wise didn't make sense. Day trading wise, short-term trading wise didn't make sense for it, because like I said, you're going to wake up one day and it's going to go off and you're going to miss the run. And so it's proving to be that. Now, bro, I'm going to tell you this, and this may be a Monday conversation if it does go off.
Yeah.
I believe this is a better situation than GameStop and could be a potential, but now it won't run the same because GameStop was just a perfect storm.
Yeah.
But I think what this has going for it that GameStop didn't was GameStop wasn't fundamentally a good company. It was a short squeeze.
Right.
It was a perfect set of events where the Wall Street Bets community came on, and then the media train caught on to it. The media train's not really going to catch on to this the same way, but Wall Street Bets can get a hold of it, and people have been looking for the next GameStop, so that's promising. And beyond that, what's even bigger to me, and it's a force multiplier in my opinion, is that it is still a good company. So put that into perspective, is like, you got the people on Reddit that they're just the hype machine, but then you got people who are actually legitimate. I don't want to say legitimate, but you have people who are fundamental traders.
Yeah.
They're going to look at the company and say, wow, this is getting exposure to a company that's actually very good and should be valued at more. And we've seen price targets increase this week, just got an upgrade to $15 price target. I think we're going to see more of that, which is going to bring more people into this stock, I believe.
I think so too. And just for all that information we gave you guys, make sure you give us a thumbs up. We certainly would appreciate it.
Like what you did.
216 of you guys hanging in here. And let's get those thumbs up to show some more support for the channel. Certainly would appreciate it. Yeah, Fat Man Zoom, I think also, you know, if for those of you who might still be kind of a little bit in the red and thinking about just getting out while the, you know, and just breaking even on this, just remember why you bought it in the first place and kind of understanding why you bought it. And if you still have those same convictions, then there's no reason to sell here. And like I said, I kind of understand the mental aspect of how it's just been messing with you this whole time, but just kind of remind yourself of that. And I think you'll be in really good shape. Now, this might be a nothing burger, right? This could be something like we saw last Thursday where we just see a spike up and then it kind of fizzles out again. But this feels a little bit different than it did on Thursday. And the volume in here has been absolutely insane. Would you say 100 million, Fat Man Zoom?
No, I was saying it could hit 100 million.
Oh, yeah.
We were texting at 11:30.
Yeah.
The volume was at 59 million. I don't know what it's at currently. I don't have it pulled up right now, but I'm sure somebody in our crew could pull it up really quickly.
Yeah. Well, either way, I mean, the volume in here is something that we haven't seen, and we didn't really even see this on Thursday either.
Oh, it is 140 million. I'm sorry, 140 million. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Holy shit, bro.
Yeah.
What's the 10-day average on it? Isn't it like 14 million or something?
Yeah, I believe it's around there. Yep. So unbelievable volume rolling in on this thing. So yeah, everybody's corroborating 140 million. So thanks guys for that. But yeah, that's absolutely insane. So 10 times the volume that we're used to seeing on Clover. It does feel different, Fat Man Zoom.
It does feel different. And we've seen this before in a lot of stocks, and you have a lot of experience in penny stocks as well. I feel like you have like a little bit of an initial burst, settles out, weekends get pushed out, and then the real run up happens. That's what it feels like. And really getting above this, closing above this 50-day moving average is going to be huge for this stock. But I didn't even realize, I just realized now that it actually did get over $10. I think 10.03 is the high of the day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Which, there's still a lot of day left.
Right. Yeah, it's pulling back a little bit here during the lunch hour, and I have a couple areas of support and resistance marked. They actually look like they're pretty in line with Don. Don Fran of the Don Fran Show just sent me a text with a screenshot of his. The zones that I have marked are pretty in line with his. He has a zone here. It looks like between, I want to say 930 and 973, just going off of my phone, and that's pretty much where I have it. So I had actually a mark here at around 922, and then I have it at 994, essentially. So they're pretty close. This is a really crucial area. Fat Man Zoom, I think if it holds above this 922 area, 925, I think we are going to be in good shape here. It would be nice to see this hold. This pullback here seems rather healthy. I just would love to see it continue, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't discouraged if this fell below $9 a share.
Yeah. Did you see my tweet, by the way, about Portnoy and the Buzz ETF?
Yeah.
Somebody else, I think Michael Hanna mentioned as well, the Buzz ETF. But man, if the other factor to this is that the media can bring attention to it, I think the attention hasn't been there yet. So if it can be, and if other YouTubers get it, bro, if they get a hold of this is, if I'm not mistaken, you had that first, the GameStop run, which we lumped in AMC, BlackBerry. I feel like there was another one that we were looking at, but those were sort of the stocks. But it was really GameStop and AMC. And the real question since then has been, what's the next GameStop? And we thought maybe it would be Rocket, but we haven't really had a true one where Wall Street Bets has gotten behind it, then it's gotten picked up by the media, then it's seen movement by the general public. If that happens where the YouTubers get a hold of it and saying this is the next GameStop, it's going to be crazy. If Buzz ETF, when I think it reallocates every month, so May 1st, if Buzz ETF picks it up, this might be a perfect setup for it, and it will go bananas.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said bananas today. I don't know if I did.
I don't know if you did or not, but yeah, absolutely. There's so many scenarios in which we could see this pop off. But what I really kind of wanted to just focus on is obviously we're really excited. Also making sure that we understand what the possibilities are for Clover. Yes, we like to talk about the what ifs and how this can go up, but also making sure that you're keeping risk here as well. If you're one of the ones that chase this today, understanding that there is a reality in which that this could come back down. So make sure that you're managing risk that way. If you ended up buying this a little bit higher today, and today ended up being your first day buying Clover. What I will say though too, Fat Man Zoom, which we haven't touched on yet, is DogeCoin went absolutely the hell off.
Yeah.
And it looked like it pulled back a little bit here. So I'm going to pull this up on Webull real quick. But DogeCoin, man, I put this on Twitter. If I could create a coin and just out of thin air, if somebody creates a coin just called shitcoin, legitimately call it shitcoin, I'll buy it. Because at this point, like, what are we doing? If somebody buys, and can you imagine like the media coverage if shitcoin actually gains some traction, they'd have to talk about it. Like, what does that look like? But that's essentially what's happened with Doge, right? It was made out of something. It was made out of nothing, literally just out of thin air. People just started to create this euphoria around it. But there's no. I mean, I guess you could argue that this is similar to how Bitcoin actually started. But like, I just definitely head scratcher. What I will say is, yes, we poo-pooed on it. It went all the way up to 46 cents. Now sitting at 34 cents, so a pretty significant pullback. We did mention yesterday that there were some use cases that are coming around, such as the NBA. We watched a bull flag pattern on a five-minute chart, and sure enough, watched it blast right off of that. So played out perfectly in that sense. But like, if you were someone who held onto this in the lower under 5 cent range, I would imagine that most of you guys, you should have anyway viewed this as a gamble and made out okay on a really nice gamble. And for that reason, definitely applaud you guys there. I'm still not sold on just holding this for any other reason other than to just make it a gambling play, Fat Man Zoom.
Yeah, everybody always talks about the tech bubble. I feel like the tech bubble, even more so than the housing crash, they talk about the general stock market. And I don't agree with it at all. I don't agree with the assessment when they look at big tech, and they always draw upon that. I draw crypto as sort of a similarity and draw parallels to what what's happening there and what happened in the tech bubble, right? Yeah. We're going to see more and more cryptos coming out. Everything's going to go off. Cream's going to rise to the top. Remember about the tech bubble, like not every company failed. Right. There was just a lot of money being thrown around. There was not a lot of due diligence, and anything would just go off. The ones that were legitimate businesses, and Amazon's probably one of your best examples of that. Yeah. They end up being better for it. So me saying that about crypto, and that could be the next tech bubble, the tech crash, that doesn't mean Bitcoin is not going to do well. I think Bitcoin will still be around, but there's going to be others that aren't. Ethereum, I think, will still be around. Yeah. We're going to see more popping up, just like we saw more tech companies popping up. We're going to see more crypto assets popping up, as we are already seeing, but it's not going to slow down. And then people are going to hype about it, and it's going to be the next Dogecoin. Yeah. So it remains to be seen. It feels like that way for me. But like I said yesterday, listen, with Mark Cuban getting behind it, we already know Elon Musk got behind it. I mean, he didn't get behind it, but he more brought it up, and he's talking more about it.
It's getting behind it in a sense of like, it's still, I think it's still, in my mind, if I'm Elon Musk, I'm still viewing this as more or less just a game or some sort of social experiment, because it sure feels like that's what he's doing with it.
Yeah. And so when you have Mark Cuban getting behind it and you have a use case and now you have metrics, that's when, people like me will take a look at it. Not that I'm the person that they need to do it, but like anybody that has consistent money in the market, not somebody who's just jumping in. Yeah. And from a longevity perspective, I said it yesterday, man, like it is more of a consideration for me. And I'm okay that I missed the run, because you can't predict those gambles. If I'm doing that, the people that jump in there a lot of time like gambling, you can have a day where you win 1,500, but then you're going to try to replicate that, and then you're going to have a day you're down 3,000, 5,000.
Yeah,
Likely.
100%, 100%. Real quick, I don't want to forget about him because he did donate and ask a question. Super Kal-El, thanks for the donation, first of all. He did ask, what could be the stock price of a short squeeze on this if it happens? Just kind of going back to Clover real quick. It's hard to predict what price it could actually go to. We've been talking about how we feel strongly that this is a $20 stock fundamentally. So I think that if we were going to pick a price, that would be it. But you just never know. When short squeezes, things go parabolic like this. You really have no idea in which direction it may go. But yeah, going back to DogeCoin, you bring up a good point as far as like, we're starting to see this space get crowded with stuff that kind of doesn't mean a whole lot. And it does remind me of a dot-com bubble to a certain extent. There's a lot of companies that literally had no business model, no structure to them, whatsoever. They had a website and they just went public with that website, and people just bought the shit out of it thinking that it was going to go somewhere. And this is kind of has the feeling that Doge has. And I'm not trying to again, poo-poo on anybody's parade, but just understand the risk that's involved here. I see a lot of people talking about how they are now on free, working with free money, working with house money. And so I think that is the way to go about doing it. If you doubled your money here or more, take the money out that you put into it. And then that way it doesn't matter where this lands. You're still going to make money. And so if you still feel like you want to stay in Doge, the best way to stay in Doge and then protect your risk is to at least take the money out of it that you put into it. And then I would feel much better about you guys being in it. And so the part that scares me is the people that are chasing it all the way up here. And, we see it all the time. They mortgage their houses and all that and go crazy on this stuff and then just lose their ass. And then we never see them again. And that's never good for the market in particular or for that individual, obviously. But yeah, just protecting your capital here, I think, is just super crucial. If you haven't done so already, I would strongly consider doing that.
Yeah, the problem is, Brad, that no matter what you say, the people that just jumped into it. Now, I'm not talking about like full-time traders who play the hype. There's a space for people who can go in, make their money and get out.
Yeah.
The people that got into DogeCoin, the ones that you're talking to are the ones that got in because they heard a friend or whatever, and they just wanted to put money in. Yeah. They're not going to trim because in their mind, all they're going to be like is, well, if I sell and it goes up, I'm going to miss out on more money. And what they'll do is they may sell, but then it's going to go up. They're going to get the FOMO. They're going to buy back in, and then it's going to go down.
It's crazy. Yeah.
They're not going to listen to you, man. It's like kids don't listen to their parents. They got to learn the hard way, which – listen, the market's going to educate you, but I agree. And we say this all the time, no matter what it is, whether it's DogeCoin, Clover, Apple, Amazon, you got to have an exit strategy.
Yep.
And so, the mentality that got people into Doge and decided to buy Doge is probably going to prevent them from taking your advice, but you got to say it anyways.
Yeah, I mean, and some people listen. I think that it's just important because I think there's also that crowd where they are up so much and they don't know what to do because it's like, holy shit, I didn't think this was going to happen. I do get questions like that. So hopefully if you're one of those people that, are in that boat where you're just like, I have all this money now, I don't know what to do, then maybe that should help as well. Shane Haley, thanks for the donate, my man. Good to see you, bro. He says, sorry for sweeping the O's. Yeah, I know. Orioles, man, they are, rebuilding is an understatement. It's frustrating to watch. I still love my O's, though. Thanks for the donate. I appreciate it.
So we got about 10 minutes to wrap up, a little bit less. So I want to just wrap up DogeCoin real quick, get back to Clover. So some people, I think, just jumped in and have some questions about Clover.
Yeah.
But I just want to make an overall sentiment about these hype plays and wanted to get your perspective on it. We had the Buzz ETF, and for you guys that don't know about the Buzz ETF, Dave Portnoy at Barstool Sports partnered with some guys, and they recently released an ETF that what it does is it tracks sentiment online for Wall Street Bets, whoever's talking about it, blogs where they're basically aggregating all the data, and every month they create an ETF of the top stocks that are talked about online. And the idea is to find stocks that people are talking about and sort of ride the wave.
Yeah.
Now, it's too early on to determine what's going to happen with it, but thanks for the donate, Michael Hanna. Appreciate it. But what this brought to my mind is, a lot of mainstream like media and analysts are really frustrated with the way people are trading now in the hype trade and no fundamentals, and they're like pulling their hair out. I think it's safe to say this is how trading is now. And so you either get on board or you get left behind.
Yeah.
Do we see more and more regular, or let's say full-time traders going into hype plays and just throwing fundamentals out, throwing technicals out, just like getting into hype plays? Because it seems like there's a real opportunity there for hype plays.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I'm just going to bring us back here. I feel like there is an element to that. If you're a full-time trader like myself, even you to a certain extent, you're going to play these hype plays, but you're going to do them in the space in which people are trading full-time. We just call them lotto plays. You're still going to have your core group of stocks that you trade around. And then when you see some of these high flyers, you're almost kind of like throwing YOLO money at it. And you can let the other people who think that who are going to spend their life savings on it lose their ass. But really, people like me, people like who do this for a living, you're just going to throw some YOLO money at it and hope that maybe you make a few bucks. And if you don't, it's not like it's going to kill you. And so I think that's probably more along the lines of what you'll see from full-time traders. But, the hype train on some of these, I think we're going to experience this for quite some time. And this goes back to me talking about how we're going to see such an explosion in the economy. We are seeing a little bit of liquidity go into people paying off debt. We're seeing a huge trend in that, which is good for the economy and for personal finance. Yeah. But I also think that a certain element of that is going to come back into the markets, and we're starting to see that kind of return with some of the cyclical stuff rotating back into growth a little bit. We're kind of seeing that today as well. But I do think that we'll start to see more and more of these, and I don't think that we're done yet seeing some of these like crazy short squeeze type of plays, even though I don't know if we see another one like GameStop, but I don't think that these short squeeze plays, especially as it relates to social media, is going to slow down anytime soon.
But, and I probably misworded that, and let me sort of piggyback off that. Could someone be successful off of just trading hype plays and meme stocks? And do we see, like, is that the next trader that we see? You know what I mean? Like, you're a short-term swing trader. We've got day traders. I'm more focused on long-term swing trading. Like, do we see somebody who's just focused on hype trading? And can someone, this is the question, can someone be successful only trading hype plays? Because we talked about this is kind of like penny stock land, right?
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, we've seen this already. I mean, that's why dumb money exists, right? They rely on social orb, and they've been really successful at that. So I would imagine though that for most people that probably they probably won't end up following into that category. But who knows? I mean, and maybe that's something that does start to evolve.
All right, so let's sort of start wrapping this up. Let's get back to Clover. So for you guys tuning in, make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you want more content like this. We go live every Sunday for Stock Watch Sunday, and we'll do these impromptu live streams as well.
4 days in a row, my man. We went live 4 days in a row this week.
So guys, make sure you like and subscribe. And then we come out with some content. We actually have a video coming out tonight. What's tonight's video? I can't even remember. We did top 10 meme stocks.
Yeah. So tonight's video is going to be about the top 10 stocks that we saw trending. So there's 50 stocks that were trending on Wall Street Bets. We picked 10 of our favorite and kind of let you guys know what we think about them.
Yeah, and Clover's not one of them.
Clover is actually not one of them, which it probably should have been at this point.
So for those of you watching, Clover has been my number one conviction stock. We went live because it went off today, broke over that key resistance, which we're keeping an eye on right now. That's $9 a share. I think it's a $20 stock long term. In the short term, this thing needs to be above 10. It's silly. But the reason why it seems like it's setting up for a short squeeze, and we're trying to confirm, but it looks like Benzinga was saying there's 148% short interest. So the question is this the next GameStop? Wall Street Bets is getting a hold of it. My thesis in a nutshell is this is only the beginning.
Yeah.
I think next week's going to be a monster week because I think it's going to get legs over the weekend and there's going to be some hype around it. And the people who aren't consistent traders are going to see the move and want to jump into it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I brought us back to the chart here because this is exactly what I wanted to see. And I know that we're just looking at the 5-minute chart here. So it's very fluid as far as intraday trading is concerned. But we talked about at the top of the show that I wanted to see it hold this 922 area, and it is actually doing that rather well. Again, still just looking at the 5-minute chart, but so far so good. Anything can happen, but this is looking really good, looking really promising to hold this and potentially close above that $9 mark that we were hoping for.
I did want to bring this up coming into this live stream. One of the things that's been on my mind, and Shreems, thanks for your comment because it reminded me. Shreems said, "Hi, can you talk about IPOF just flat to down?" I don't really want to dig into IPOF, but I do want to talk about Chamath stocks. Chamath stocks, IPOF, IPOD. Those are the SPAC ones. But even to a certain extent, Open Door, SPC. Yeah. It seems like they're all kind of when CLOV went down because of the Hindenburg news. It seems like they all were kind of beaten down, and SPACs in general are down. What's interesting to me and what I'm going to keep my eye on next week is if Clover can break over and get to levels where it belongs, and to me, that's $15 plus.
Yep.
If it can get there, then I think the sentiment's going to become more optimistic for IPOF, IPOD, and Open Door. Open Door, I have my eye on this whole week. It may show up on the watch list next week, but I do think that if Clover goes well, then all the other stuff will start getting a little bit more positive sentiment.
Yeah.
So I would 100% get into IPOF. That's our favorite SPAC right now.
Yep.
But even IPOD or any of the other, reverse merger plays.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're definitely going to have a little bit of that sympathy type of play to them. So certainly worth keeping an eye on those as well.
Let me just say to close this out, and then I'll let you wrap it up. This was my number one conviction stock, or is my number one conviction stock. Even at these levels, I'm not selling anytime soon. This has shown up on our watch list time and time again, on our Own the Chaos channel time and time again. Guys, we put this stuff out for free. So if you guys want to get our watch list, we send out 5 stocks every day the market's open. Go to ownthechaos.com, click on get the free watch list. If you would have gotten the watch list, you might have been in on this. I don't know. So go there, check it out, guys.
Yeah, some really good ones today, too. SPG was one of them. Several others. SPG just took off today. Figures. But it was because I was keeping my eye on it, didn't pull the trigger on that. But lots of really other good stuff on that watch list, too. So make sure you go to ownthechaos.com. We'd love to have you guys over there. Guys, that's going to do it for us in our impromptu live stream. We certainly appreciate you allowing us to be a part of your afternoon. If you haven't subscribed to Own the Chaos yet, at least just do that and hit that thumbs up if you got value out of today's live stream. We certainly would appreciate it. That's going to do it for me. That's going to do it for Fat Man Zoom. As always, we will see you all before the bell. We'll see you Stock Watch Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks so much. See ya. Peace.
I quit this bitch.
I quit this bitch.